go live. Unable to connect the chat. Let's try. Go. Is it working?
Is it working?
Oh my god, it's working.
Hold on. Did you make it live?
I'm out.
You should have told me because I wasn't.
It's up.
There you go. Is this what?
Oh, god.
Yeah, it looks like we're live
now. Oh, is that us? Is that us?
Right.
Yeah, that's us. We're back.
I just gotta send it because now there's 2 of them up.
Yeah. Hey,
God damn it, YouTube. All right, hold on. Stream is here. The previous one unlisted. Make this unlisted. My god, so much hassle.
Hey, we got it in the end, though, right?
Yes, we did in the end. Right. I'm just going to put the tweet out for this.
All right.
Boom. New stream location. New stream location. That and Jesus, Jimmy, blah 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 blah. Right.
There we go. Okay. Fantastic.
There we go. Just need to make sure that was going to that I've linked the right one everywhere, which I should have done. Yeah, it looks like I have.
Yes, you have. Thank God.
There we go. Yes. So what the issues turned out to be. Well, first of all, I'll do the reintroduction again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Good Morning Source Gaming. Yeah. I'm NantenJex, and my guest today is TWIP, Ben from TWIP. So, for those who are watching this in retrospect, it's we had to restart the stream because it was going down, and it turns out the reason is Devil May Cry 2. We had Devil May Cry 2's live stream was set up on the channel for Shadowlink to play to be playing, and for some reason, even though we were using the right stream key, YouTube had basically given us the same stream key for the Devil May Cry 2 and this Good Morning Source Gaming episode. So the stream was just randomly jumping between this and then DMC2 one for some reason, which wasn't like even listed. I don't understand. I actually absolutely do not understand why that happened. But thanks to the work of Shadowlink, we're now up and running and ready.
Shout out to some of my fans in the chat. I recognize them. Welcome.
Welcome. We're here. So yeah, right. Where were we before everything collapsed in on itself?
I discussed what I was doing other than Pokemon, and then you said you beat Luigi's Mansion 3.
No, yeah, I'm playing Luigi's Mansion 3, and I'm just about to beat it.
Just about to finish it. 2 floors left.
Yeah, I've got 2 floors left on the in the old hotel. I'm pretty sure the only bosses will be the main 2, King Boo and whatever the woman's called.
Yeah.
Who's the new villain. But yep, I'm aiming to ideally beat that because I'm also playing Dragon Quest 11 right now, which is obviously like a 100-hour RPG. So I'm trying to work through that while also playing Luigi and then doing Pokemon, which I'm also doing trying to do Pokemon as just a live stream.
Yeah.
Which obviously means I can only do it at certain times and only a certain amount a day. But I feel like the experience of playing it with people, talking to people while I go through it, actually giving nicknames to my Pokemon. Yeah, I thought it'd be a fun experience that I've not really had before in Pokemon, because I don't tend to even like give nicknames or anything like that. I'm very plain with when it comes to my Pokemon.
No, I'm terrible
unless I'm doing like a Nuzlocke.
I'm really bad at doing it.
We've themed it. Let's see. We've themed my characters around other video game characters. So I started with Sobble and I've named him Gex because I had no choice.
Gex,
And
yep.
yep.
Your next line is Sonic.
And then like all the others, like I got the squirrel and I named it. It was a female one, so I named it after Conker's girlfriend from Conker's Bad Fur Day. Some really like deep cuts.
Not bad.
But yeah, I think that's a good way as any to transition into the Pokemon. So let's do that.
Okay, where should we start?
Well, first off, because we're gonna keep this spoiler free.
Spoiler free, yeah.
Yeah, spoiler free. Because I haven't played anything since you watched me the other day, Antonio. So I haven't seen Squovit's evolution yet.
I don't think I've seen it either, honestly. I don't remember seeing it, and I've beat the game.
Yeah, so we're going to keep it spoiler free, but I suppose we'll start with our general stances on whether we enjoyed the game or not, and also clarification on where we're up to in the game, because you obviously just said you've beaten it.
Yep.
But I'm only 4 hours in. Like, I haven't even hit the first gym. I've signed up for the Gala Premier League.
Yeah.
But I've not... And I've beaten Hop so many times.
Oh my god! I
feel bad for the kid.
That doesn't stop. You will fight Hop like 50 more times. Oh my god!
It's like Hop's a weird one because it's like with How I didn't mind beating him. He was very chilled, very relaxed. Hop's like clearly very motivated, and it's his dream to be the champion. And I know I'm going to be the champion. Yeah. So I'm like. He's meant to be his like best friend, and I'm just constantly kicking him down at every opportunity.
Yeah.
And he's always like, "Oh, it's a really close battle," and it's like, "Mate, I've got 6 Pokemon left."
It's like, mate,
you're wrecked. Yeah, you've been wrecked bad. But yeah, all right. So on general stances, I personally am enjoying my time with it so far. There's been a few things that I've been questioning, but it's nothing that's not usual Pokemon fare. All right. Like stuff like, oh, if Hop's meant to be running with me, why don't they actually have him follow me? Because I know that technology's there. Why does he run like 4 steps ahead and then just stop? Because that's really takes you out of it. But that's usual Pokemon stuff. It's stuff I think they should have changed eventually, but it's not like unusual. But what about you? What about yourself? What's your?
I definitely like my step. We're on a home console. We are paying $60, not $40. I feel like that technology should have grown up. It should be better by now. I agree that the whole one of my big issues is like the screen will just like fade to black. You'll have these characters, screen will fade to black, and then like that's kind of it. Then you just carry on with what you're doing. I feel like there should be more animation. There should be more storytelling that takes advantage of the home console rather than the 3DS. So, yeah, that's standard stuff, but it's standard stuff that shouldn't be there anymore. And honestly, I think Sun and Moon even did it better than what this game does. You'll see that later on, yeah.
Okay. Because
yeah.
No, go on. Sorry.
Okay. Like we were talking about, don't spoil the game, but that's one of my big issues with the game. There isn't really anything to spoil. The story, yeah, and this is like one of my biggest issues. The story is like non-existent. It's the worst story in the franchise, easily, in my opinion.
I'll have to see because I've played X and Y, and that is definitely
yeah, no.
the worst.
I thought, oh my god, there's no way it could be more shallow than Pokemon X and Y. Well, I promise you, it is. It sadly really is. Characters don't get fleshed out or built up. Nothing happens until like one point in the game, and then it just you do it for about 20 minutes, and then you're off, and then that's everything. So I was really bummed out because I thought Sun and Moon had a really good story. I think I'm in the minority with a lot of fans where I actually really like Sun and Moon. I think they're some of the best Pokemon games.
Okay.
But a lot of people didn't like them. Like I
Yeah,
know.
a lot of my friends didn't like Sun and Moon. I think it was almost too much story. Like it kept stopping and starting up. Like you'd walk 5 steps and then there'd be another cutscene, kind of thing, which Pokemon didn't typically do. Like it didn't strike a good enough balance that like I think Black and White did. Which for I guess for reference to everyone, in my opinion, the peak of Pokemon was Heart Gold to Black and White, like that.
I
End of Gen
agree
4, beginning of Gen
100%.
5.
I agree 100%.
And like it's been sort of dipping since there. But in my opinion, X and Y is the worst one I've played so far.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah. You're not. I don't know. I don't think you'll dig these games if X and Y were your lowest points. No, seriously,
Yeah.
they're just like X and Y. It's like the shallowness of X and Y with the tutorialness of Sun and Moon.
Ooh, well, the tutorials haven't been too bad so far. I mean, most of them are skippable, I've noticed.
Yeah, well,
which is interesting.
It's more so like the routes are like hallways now. It's just like straight lines, and they're super, super duper short.
Okay.
And yeah, the wild area is about the only area in the game that's actually open. The rest is like super enclosed. And then like the cities as well, like they look really grand and everything, and it feels cool being in these big cities. But then you find out that there's like barely any buildings you can actually go inside. Do you know, like, on the map, that like dragon city thing? Like,
Is the one with the big castle in the center with the
yes,
crown on top?
yes, that one. That is about the size of maybe Pallet Town, like with the amount of buildings you can go in. Like you can barely go in any of those castle places, and it's just really disappointing.
See, that is a shame. Like, I don't mind. I guess it depends on how I do it because I'm all for streamlining stuff. Although there is a bit of an element of disappointment where you're like, oh, you see that house over there, you can't go in it. You see that mountain over there, you can't walk to it. Like the opposite effect of something like Breath of the Wild. But I'm just trying to remember it from past Pokemon games and I guess compare it to that because I thought Sun and Moon was a step up from X and Y. I wasn't a fan of X and Y.
Me too.
Then Sun and Moon had a bit too much story, but I felt there was actually a post game because there was like no post game in X and Y, and other various stuff. That I was just like, yeah, this is.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at when you said no post game in X and Y.
I mean, it's true. It basically had.
No. I'm just I'm not going to spoil what it is, but Sword and Shield don't have a great post game either.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I don't know if this is a spoiler. I won't say it. Is it a spoiler saying how many legendaries you can catch in the game?
Not really, I suppose. I mean, obviously there's like the 3 new ones.
Yeah, well, that's it. You can only catch 2 legendaries in the whole game.
that's not too bad. I don't tend to catch the legendaries anyway. The Ultra Beasts, there were so many of them in Sun and Moon, and I think I caught like 1. And then I couldn't be bothered to do any of the rest of them.
No, that's fair.
So
crap ton of those.
Yeah, so I'm not too fussed about that. Although a lack of post game has always been a bit of an issue for Pokemon.
Yeah, and I could have sworn, I don't know if I'm making this up, I could have sworn that they said they were going to try and make a very good post game this time around in like one of the earlier directs for the game.
I'd have to see. I'd have to go check.
Me too. I feel like I definitely heard it.
I feel like they said that for Sun and Moon, and then they did sort of deliver on that. And you had, even if I never actually finished it, they had all the stuff with Red and Blue. Like they were showing off the post game, all the Ultra Beasts all post game, even though they kind of hyped them up to be main game. So it's like,
I think my big issue is that I know they definitely said this. They said they were trying a lot of new things with Sword and Shield, and I just don't see it at all. I don't see anything new. I don't know if Dynamax counts as new.
Dynamax is. I've done Dynamax in the demo, so I can talk about it. And I guess I've done it in those big raid battles. You do, and it's very whatever ability. Like I'm of 2 minds of it. I'm glad that it's like something in the game that differs up the battles and makes the boss battles a bit more unique.
Yeah,
and I'm also glad that it's only exclusively for raid battles and gym battles,
Uh-huh.
because that means it won't mess with the meta.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're trying to do stuff with the meta in this game to make it easier.
No, that's
Like-
true, and I'll give it compliments for that. Like anything that makes that aspect of the games easier and less tedious, I'm all for. So
Yeah. Which is good. It feels like there's been a big focus on doing the competitive community, and I mean, I'm not. We'll talk about that in a moment, but I'm never usually into the competitive scene. I probably won't do it here, but I know a lot of people who were, and a lot of people actually really enjoyed X and Y because of what it did with the competitive scene.
No, me too.
And then didn't like Sun and Moon because of what it did to the competitive scene. Like,
I never got
Sun and
into
Moon
the
was
Sun and
apparently really
Moon
bad.
competitive scene, but I definitely got into the X and Y one.
It was bad. Apparently, the Sun and Moon one was really bad compared. They took out a lot of the good features in the X and Y one. No, not just unbalanced. Like, I think removing Mega Evolutions and replacing them with Z moves really messed up with stuff, and they made it more tedious to sort of connect up and do battles.
Wait. Did Sun and Moon remove Megas?
Yeah, Sun and Moon doesn't have Mega Evolutions in it. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon has Mega Evolutions. They re-added it for that one.
Yeah. Oh, I never knew Sun and Moon. Wow, I never knew that.
And
I knew
most
one
people
of them did. Wow.
Most people forget that's kind of the big difference between them. It's also Pokemon timeline wise, you can tell which timeline they're in based on whether the game has Mega Evolutions or not.
Yeah,
I'm assuming this game doesn't have Mega Evolutions in it because I haven't heard anything.
No Megas.
Yeah, which means it's in the non-Mega timeline.
Yep. Yeah, see, I'm definitely not playing competitive this game because like they cut like the 498 Pokemon or whatever.
Is that how many Pokemon are actually cut? Well, let's talk about the national decks and stuff like that, and if it really did affect your sort of playthrough of this game.
Well, I'll say right now, it didn't affect my playthrough because it was always about the competitive aspect, the national decks cut. Playing through the games normally, I never usually transferred Pokemon into the games for the main story anyways.
Yeah.
So that wasn't it was never the fact that they cut the national decks that was my issue. It was always their excuse for doing so that didn't add up at all that got me really annoyed. Because it just felt like they were obviously trying to cut corners where they could.
Yeah,
that's how I felt.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff floating around about that like our friend Push Dustin on his channel Memory Card just put out a video the other day where he looks at the supposed interview that said that they had redid all the models from scratch and had quotes from other games developers and interpreting that. And it's like a lot of that is massively misinformed. Like, there's no real evidence that they did mean they redid every model. They just had to redo some of them because of the jump to the Switch. And like redid from scratch can mean a lot of things. Like, it can mean that they started off with a base and had to touch a bunch of stuff up, or it could mean they literally just started from the very beginning, or it could mean like they had they had to make the model again, but they had the actual, all the previous assets there, so could just do a copy and paste kind of job.
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy to interpret, which is why I never really liked the Game Freak lied hashtag, because like they didn't really lie about it. It got misreported and people just jumped on that, even when it was like, because I'm pretty sure I remember hearing that it was mistranslated all the way back in like July.
Yeah.
And so I thought that controversy was over until it just suddenly popped up again. But I get that though. They were very bad with the PR around this.
No, they were.
I remember they casually dropped the fact that not every Pokemon would come back in that like treehouse segment.
Oh, the classic treehouse.
Yeah. Like, that's because I get why it's gonna happen eventually once you've hit over like 1,000 Pokemon.
No, yeah, me too.
But they should have like done what they did with Let's Go almost. Like in Let's Go, they were like, okay, only the 151 Pokemon are going to be in this game, but we're doing it for this reason, and it was like a legitimate reason. Like,
well, yeah,
they should have done the same. They should have done the same thing here, to be honest, and been like, we want to focus on the competitive side, and we want to focus on balancing only a set amount of Pokemon and work
balance.
through it.
They actually did use balance as one of the reasons.
Should have had that as their first
main
reason.
Yeah.
as their main reason, because people would be annoyed, but there'd be more understanding of it. It does make me wonder for a Diamond and Pearl remake that everyone's hammering on about potentially being next.
No,
How are they going
I don't want it in this engine, and that's another thing we didn't talk about. The graphics, like obviously graphics don't make everything, but like they're not good. I don't think they're good.
It doesn't bother me, right? And I'll say why. I think the actual character models and the Pokemon models themselves are really nice. I think they look really good.
Yeah, I think they look fine. Yeah,
it's the texture work, especially in the background of some sections, that is what looks bad. That's what people don't seem to like about it. And they include the infamous Ocarina of Time tree.
The trees, yes. Oh my god.
But here's my argument for it, right? These trees are in the wild area, which is this big, massive, open spot where Pokemon are walking around. Other trainers are potentially walking around if you're connected online. It renders stuff for miles or weather effects of all kind. That's a lot for the game to already run and manage on the Switch, and it's got to be done both portably and on the big screen. So to try and avoid frame rate issues and chugging and like really make sure the CPU doesn't explode, you do have to cut some corners, and compressing the textures is one such method to make it run more smoothly. And for stuff that really doesn't matter, like trees that are not interactable at all, I can see why they would cut that down and use very basic textures. Fire Emblem Three Houses does the same thing.
Oh no, and to be fair, I have spoken out about how ugly that game looks. I think that game looks despicably ugly. I mean, but it didn't sacrifice game content for it. Like that game has more content than most Fire Emblem games, to what I'm aware. Full voice acting for all characters, like 3 full story playthroughs. That's why I think that game got away with it. This game cuts content and also gives you a lackluster looking game.
But like, does it? I wouldn't say that they cut content to include the bad textures and the trees and all stuff like that. Like in my, I feel
I'm namely talking like the National Day.
Yeah, but what I feel like is that was always going to be the case whether every Pokemon or not came back, because it had to be the case for the game to run smoothly in the wild areas. Like other RPGs like Xenoblade do the same thing. They have there are two, like Xenoblade 2 in those big open areas runs at like 480p.
In handheld mode,
In handheld mode, yeah.
Though to be fair, Sword and Shield have a dynamic resolution that definitely drops to 500p quite often.
Okay, I have it just in handheld mode or on both
handheld mode. In docked, I think the lowest is around 720.
Okay,
I think,
because I haven't seen it drop that yet, but I've also only played it on docked, so.
I mean, here's the issue.
It might be the same issue.
When I was playing in docked, I did notice quite a few frame drops.
I noticed it once. I noticed it at one scene early on when Leon arrives back from the train station.
My god!
And that one I kind of doesn't bother me because it's in motion. Like it's just moving across a crowd.
Yeah.
And it does stutter for a bit, but it's almost like they knew it was going to do that, so they hid it there. And unfortunately, it's still a bit obvious.
I played that in handheld, that part, and it didn't drop in handheld, so it's only a docked issue.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, because it turns out the graphical fidelity in handheld and docked, they're just exactly the same. Like, there's no differences in like shadow quality or texture quality or anything. They just visually look the same. So obviously, just can't handle that high of a resolution, which, especially since it's very obvious they've used the 3DS engine, I would say. Like, it looks exactly like Sun and Moon.
Yeah, although I don't think it needed to not look like Sun and Moon. I mean, if people seem to have this big imagining that jumping on the Switch would overhaul everything in the game and make it look like really dynamic, when it was always going to still look like a Pokemon game. And and they've only used the Sun and Moon. They've only used the Sun and Moon style for Sun and Moon. Like they already did a drastic jump between the way Gen 6 looked and the way Gen 7 looked. And the Gen 7 look is much better than the Gen 6 look. I don't see why they would throw that away now, especially for their
Right. I
first,
kind of
especially for their
agree.
first big Switch game.
I kind of agree, but I also agree that if it can run on the 3DS, then why can we only get 30 FPS and a dynamic resolution of 1080p and under? If the game ran at like 60 FPS, I don't think I'd be complaining about the graphics. Because then like they made a sacrifice, but the sacrifice is we get 60 FPS, but we don't. We get 30 FPS with slowdown on a home console, which is significantly more powerful than the 3DS. So that's
That's
where
fair.
my issue lies.
That's fair. This is their first prop. I mean, they had Let's Go, obviously, and that
No, I
also had
know. I
slowdown.
just
But
don't think that's a fair excuse. Like, Super Mario 64 was Nintendo's first proper 3D game, and that didn't have these insane issues.
that's true. That's true. Though different teams. I don't know. I'm not
No, I
trying to
know it's
defend.
different
I'm
teams,
yeah.
but
I guess I'm not trying to give Game Freak. I'm not trying to defend Game Freak, but I am sort of giving them more the benefit of the doubt than most people do because I get how difficult it is. But I also
yeah.
understand why people would be if people are disappointed by stuff in the game or they don't think it looks so good. Then yeah, obviously don't complain about it. Don't get the game, although don't like harass people about it.
No, yeah,
Sort
yeah,
of
of
thing.
course, yeah.
Yeah, but all right, let's talk about some of the actual new Pokemon themselves.
Oh yeah, because I'll give the game that the new Pokemon are
Yeah,
solid. I really like the new Pokemon. I
yeah,
think they're super cool.
yeah. I'm trying to avoid massive. I won't look up any Pokemon if you want to
Yeah.
mention some from later in the game that you really enjoy.
No. I'll stick it to
But-
early ones because one of my favorite parts of the games was actually seeing new Pokemon for the first time.
Yeah.
Because they didn't spoil it this time. I was like, yes, this is
Yes.
so cool. So
Like,
yeah,
they kept a lot of things hidden and all that.
yeah.
So which was cool, and like I've got some Pokemon in mind that I really want to make sure I get on my team, like Surfetched and Morpeko.
Oh, Surfetched.
Um,
Oh, apparently, I don't know this, but apparently there's a really convoluted way of evolving Farfetch'd into Surfetched. I don't know what it is though. So I don't know if you're gonna have to look up a guide for that or something, because apparently it's like impossible to figure out on your own.
Right, I might have to give that a look then, because
Yeah.
yeah, that's one of the ones I want. Although I don't even know where you get Farfetch'd. I'm hoping he's not too
No, he's not.
late
He's
in the
not too
game.
far. In fact, I would say you're kind of close.
Okay,
You're not.
good.
You're not too far away. You're about maybe an hour away.
Okay, good. Because at the moment, I think the only Pokemon I have that I do want to keep for sure on my team is the starter Sobble, who I've just evolved into whatever its
Yeah.
evolution is
Oh,
called.
actually, I will say this. If you guys are wanting to play the game in the chat and you haven't done so yet, and you don't want the game to be easy as hell, do not choose Scorbunny. Because for some reason, if you choose Scorbunny, you basically win. That's all I use for the whole game, because he seems to be the best optimized one, and I don't know why.
Is it like Torchic in that
Yeah.
sense? Because Blaziken was leagues above the others.
Well, it's not even that. It's that all the main trainers you fight will use Pokemon that are great or that are really bad against Scorbunny.
Okay.
So Scorbunny is usually always super effective and everything. It's insane.
Yeah. So that's something actually that's really interesting that I've noticed. The sort of weird early game balance of
Yeah.
moves and types.
Yeah.
So I looked at it the other day before the stream ended. I just looked over all the Pokemon I had and realized that all the ones I've been using in my main team basically only had normal and dark type moves.
No, I
And that
noticed
was
that too. You had
like
that.
I was like, battles were taking forever, and I had a Yamp. So my team right now, my main six are Sobble or Sobble's Evolution,
Yep.
which is obviously a water type.
Yep.
Then there's Squovit because everyone kept asking me to keep Squovit, so I've kept him.
Okay.
I've got a Tyrogue because I've never used one of them before. It's my only non-Galarian Pokemon, and I'm trying to evolve him into Hitmonchan.
Right.
I've got I can't remember is a Rookie or the little bird Pokemon. Becomes Corviknight in the end.
Oh yeah. Rookie something.
Yeah, Rookie something. Let's call him Rookie.
Yeah.
I've got one of him. I've got Yamper.
Oh,
And
Yamper.
then-
Good boy. All right.
Yeah, good boy Yamper. And then I think I've got the flower one. I literally just put it in my team to have a bit more variety.
Oh, the one that Elder Goss, whatever it's called.
Yeah, the one that turns into Eldegoss. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I've
had
got-
that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I kind of
that-
needed that one because before I was using the Fox, Nickit, which is
Nickit,
a brilliant name.
brilliant name, yeah.
Yeah, I was using Nickit, and then I also had the turtle for a little bit.
The chompy, the one that evolves into
Yeah.
I know what you mean. The water
Yeah.
one, right?
Yes. But
Yeah.
that's the thing, right? So I had like 2 water types and then 2 normal types. No, sorry, a flying type, a normal type, a dark type, 2 water types, and an electric type.
Yeah.
And apart from the 2 water types and the electric type, who had 1 electric move and 3 water moves between them. Every other move was like normal, dark, normal, dark.
No, me too.
Like Nickit and Rookie basically
Mm-hmm.
have the same moves, other than Nickit has tackle and Rookie has peck.
Yeah, because I used Zigzagoon, the Galarian one, who is also normal and dark. So yeah.
What are they trying to say about our country?
I know. We're edgy.
It's full of dark types, yeah. But it just felt really imbalanced. Although I like some of the new moves. I quite like beat up, where you do more damage depending on how many Pokemon you've got in your party, and the damage output is.
I don't think I kept that move. I think I got rid of it. Oops.
Yeah, it's quite a funny move because like the amount of damage you do depends on what level and how strong the Pokemon are in the party.
Yeah.
So like, and I find the idea really funny that you just like release all 6 of your Pokemon and they just gang up on this one Pokemon.
Yeah, that is great.
It does a ton of damage. Is it not a new move? I thought that was a new move. It's the first time I'd seen it.
Is it not? It's not a new one. Okay. I don't feel like a new.
Apparently not. Rookie D. Okay, Rookie D is his name.
Rookie
so
D. Yeah, the names for the bird ones are great. Because you got Corviknight. And then the one that Rookie D evolves into Corvisquire.
Corvisquire.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's great. Oh no, there's this one. No, you've not seen. Do you have Sword or Shield?
Sword.
Sword. All right, nice. Sim. Oh, there's this one Pokemon that's so hilarious. I won't remember what it is, but I love it.
Okay.
I didn't use it, but I love it.
Fair.
Yeah. And then there's some Galarian forums to Pokemon you wouldn't think they'd give them to, and they did. Like not from Generation 1, and you're like, oh yes, oh my god.
Well, that was something that's something I'm glad they did. They changed it up. Although I am very confused that they gave Meowth the Galarian form, considering he also had an Alolan form. And you can just get regular Meowth as well.
Yeah, no. No, I won't spoil that either. Yeah.
Because I just find that really bizarre, all this Meowth favoritism going on
and then,
in this game.
Pikachu and Eevee.
Yeah, which that was also really random, just kind of bouncing around the place. The Let's Go Eevee that you get, or I got because I had Let's Go, it's given to you at the most random point. Like you just get off a train. I just thought I'd go speak to everyone, and then someone goes and gives me an Eevee out of nowhere.
Oh,
and I was like, this isn't like a special someone. Usually, if you get a mystery gift Pokemon, they used to be at like Pokemon Center.
Yeah.
Like the Green Delivery Man. But no, this is just some random, easily missable trainer at a train station.
Really? Huh.
And I was just like, right, okay then. That's interesting. And then I just put Eevee straight in my box because I was like, I'm not using it.
Poor Eevee. I love Eevee is so adorable. I love Eevee.
I always like using the new Pokemon.
Nah, me too, and that's what I did for this game.
Yeah, like my main team will always have new Pokemon, and then while I'm training them up, I might use some old ones. So in Sun and Moon, as an example, I was training up a Psyduck for a while because I caught one. I realized I'd never done that before.
Yeah.
But then eventually, when I've evolved it and all that, it got it quite strong to like level 40, and then I just removed it from the party because I wanted a party of only new Pokemon.
Oh, don't worry. Later on, I totally ditched Eldegoss at like level 50. Ditched them. What's that turtle one as well? That Pokemon is terrible. Like in battle, trash. I don't like it. Like it's not very good.
Yeah, well, that's what I found with Squovit, to be honest. I don't think Squovit's that good. I think people just really like the design. It's the very basic early one
Yeah.
Very, like Zigzagoon or
Yeah. Oh my god, no, I ditched Obstagoon as well. I ditched him at like level
Oh, you
50.
did? Oh
Oh my
wow!
god. You know what? I'll be honest, I swapped for the legendaries because they looked cool and I wanted to use them.
I never use the legendaries. I just
I usually don't either, but I did with Sun and Moon, and I realized,
Okay.
wait a minute, this is kind of fun.
No,
And
the
I
only
re-
one I
Yeah.
Let's Go was the only one I used legendaries for because I wanted to use Mew.
Oh
I knew the
yeah.
game was going to be super easy, and I got a Mew anyway. So I was like, I may as well use it this time for the first time.
Oh, I need to beat that game. I never did. I
I
tried to
didn't
do a
either.
shiny chain at the beginning of the game.
Hmm.
I did it for about 10 hours and I couldn't get it, and my Pokemon were like level 40. After not even doing the first gym, I was like, yep, I've ruined the whole game. So I'm gonna have to start again on that.
I just got bored of it. It was the first Pokemon game I actually just got bored of,
Oh. Well, actually, I'll be
and so
honest,
I
Sun
stopped
and
playing it.
Moon. For the first 2 islands, I was so bored of Sun and Moon. Like, I couldn't like force myself to play them because like they were just that boring. Because you had to do like trainer school and everything, and
Mm.
yeah, no. And I'll be honest, Sword and Shield, I kind of had to force myself to play as well.
Yeah.
No, at the beginning, honestly, I haven't even talked about this. The first 3 hours of that game, Sword and Shield, were actually fun. The cutscenes felt a bit more dynamic. The towns felt bigger, and then you get introduced to the wild area, and you see all of these new Pokemon. You meet the legendaries, and you're like, wait a minute, this is super duper cool. But for me, it was the moment I started doing the gyms is when the game got super linear and streamlined to a
Okay.
point where it's just like it's basically playing by itself.
Yeah.
I call it the Sonic Forces of Pokemon.
Oh god.
That's what I call it. Yeah.
I mean, does it help me that I enjoyed Sonic Forces for how laughably bad it was? Like it was so short, but I like so much. I really enjoy Sonic when it's at its absolute cheesiest. It's the it's amazing. But back to a Pokemon. That's a bit of a shame because that's kind of what I didn't like about X and Y.
Yeah.
Like the first half of X and Y was really built up. There's a lot of good setup. They'd been hyping up. We saw all the early gym leaders and stuff, and they'd kept everything else a mystery for the second half. But then the second half is so nothing of a game.
Oh no, that
Like
is just like Sword and Shield. Oh no.
it's like you go there and you just do gym after gym after gym,
Yeah.
and none of
Oh
the gym leaders
no.
interact with anything, and then the
Yeah.
main villain just kind of shows up, and all of the subplot with AZ just gets dropped entirely.
Oh my
Or
god,
like
that is
forced back
just
in.
like Sword and Shield. Oh no.
Oh no.
I swear, it is just you'll see. It is just like that. It is just like, oh my god. Except even worse, I would argue. Because you've got some sort like X and Y suddenly turned really dark and weird. Not for long, but it did.
Yeah.
Sword and Shield don't even do that. Like it just brings up this generic story idea and then it's used for like 20 minutes. And
Like,
that's it.
I'm fine with them going back to sort of very basic storytelling with Pokemon, as long as the game itself and the actual build up, playing through it is fun.
Yeah. See, and yeah, that's why I'm different. See, I do like playing the Pokemon games for the stories.
As
'Cause I
far as
feel
I'm
like
concerned, only one Pokemon game has had a good story, and that's Gen 5.
Gen 5,
Black and White.
Sun and Moon, I thought had a really good story.
The Sun and Moon story is okay. I just wish they'd kind of done more with some of the characters.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
But
like
Lily's really good in that game, though. I'll give them that.
Lily.
They did a really
Yes.
good thing with
I
Lily,
miss
and Prisma's
Lily.
also
I'll
pretty
be
fun,
honest,
even if he doesn't.
I
end
think
right.
Hop sucks. I don't like Hop. He's so like he's got no depth to him.
I'm preferring Hop to How.
Oh no, see, I actually liked Hal. I thought he was a cool character.
Well, did you play Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon?
Yes.
Okay, I heard he was better in that game than he is
He-
in regular Sun and regular Moon.
Yeah.
Which I see. I never play the extra versions of games. Like I think the last one I did was Black 2 and White 2.
That's because those were sequels and they were so good.
Yeah, which is why I picked them up. But like I used to get the third versions, and then I just decided in Gen 4 that there's no reason for me to.
Yeah.
And then I picked up Black 2 because it was a new story, but I'm actually not a fan of Black 2. I don't think they did enough different. That's when I started getting a bit dull of Pokemon.
Wait,
And
really?
so I couldn't be bothered with it. Yeah. Like I like there were parts of it I liked, and I decided to do a unique thing with Black 2 where I'd have one Pokemon from every region, because obviously there was only 5 at that point.
Yeah.
And then my starter. But like, I don't know, by the time I'd finished that game, I was like, okay, the story was cool, and there's still a lot of post-game stuff, but I'm not really into it as I thought I would be. Especially coming off of Gen 5, which I adored. So, and then yeah, Sun and Moon, I couldn't be bothered to buy Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, the same game but parallel story. It's just like, yeah.
But I'm surprised by I thought Black 2 was different enough for sure. I loved Black 2 and White 2. Like,
I still think they're better than X and Y, but still.
I want everything's better than X and Y. I just wanted more sequel games from that point on, but because honestly, Sword and Shield, like, they leave so much stuff open, I feel, and like just like they don't develop anything at all. I feel like a sequel game would work, but I'm also scared they're just gonna do a third version.
No, I think the trend for them has been to do a sequel games with 2, yeah.
Version.
Like, unless they really just rush through Gen 8 like they did with Gen 6. Like, Gen 6 was literally had X and Y and Oraz, and then that was it. They were done. They moved on to Gen 7.
Man, I don't want Diamond and Pearl remakes in this engine. I would much rather just wait until Gen 9.
I don't know. Because I feel like I never played Oraz, but from what I've heard, it took a lot of the problems with the X and Y engine and fixed them.
Really?
Yeah, and made them better. And so, if the team have got more time to work with this engine, they can probably get more out of it. And so we could potentially get Pokemon Gun or Pokemon Diamond Pearl remake with like a proper, like with them using the engine to its fullest advantage.
Right.
Because this is the first game they've used in this semi-new engine.
So is it even new though? Because
it's definitely new, but it's based on the Sun and Moon engine very heavily.
Because in my opinion, like,
but
it's the most similar looking region, or similar looking games to a past generation game that they've ever done. If that makes sense, like
Gold and Silver to Red and Blue are basically the same.
Oh, well, okay, fine. Apart from Gold, yeah. Apart from those, yeah. But
to be honest, I think that's an issue with 3D models. I say the same thing about New Super Mario Brothers. It's very similar as all those games are to each other. A big reason for that is because they use 3D models, and so they can't be as stylish as they used to be with sprites.
Yeah,
like the first 5 generations of Pokemon are all sprite based, and so they change up the sprites and make them more detailed and more 3-dimensional as the series goes on. Then they go fully 3D by having the really small chibi looking characters, but people didn't like that, so they then upgraded it to the Sun and Moon style, which people did like.
Yeah,
and people were expecting another change of this, but if people like that style, the best thing to do is then just take that and polish it up and make it cleaner looking and stuff like that, which they have. I think they have done. I think the character models and Pokemon models in this game are really good. It is just everything that around them. That is specifically in the wild area that doesn't look as clean.
Well, my friends just came up in the chat there. G-Hub saying Sword and Shield are absolutely on the 3DS games.
Is that like an actual confirmed thing with data? Or is that just a speculative
based
thing?
On speculation? I mean, yeah, I don't know if it's definitely confirmed, but you look at the draw distance and everything, and you compare that to Sun and Moon, and I guarantee you'd be able to get in the exact same results. I definitely buy that they're almost exactly the same.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're almost exactly the same, because it's very clearly based on that one. But I would be hesitant to call it the exact same engine, because that doesn't necessarily, you can't just transfer that over from 3DS.
No, and and then that is why the game cannot run at higher resolutions or a higher frame rate, because they try to just take a 3DS engine and just port it to the Switch.
Well, if it really doesn't work with this way, then they'll probably change up the. I don't think they would use the engine again. Like if it was really that problematic and it was really that hard to develop with, they would probably change up the engine for the next game that
The
they
next
work on.
generations, yeah. For
That's,
sure.
that's the thing. I kind of don't want them to jump to a next generation too soon because they've already had the issues of not being able to bring back every Pokemon with this game.
Yeah.
And that's just gonna happen again if they, because every time they go a generation, they have to add another 60 odd Pokemon. It's gonna have the exact same problem. And it also means that Gala won't have as much time to develop because so far I really like Gala as a region specifically, and that there is bias in there, obviously,
Yeah,
because
sure.
it's based on
Yeah.
our region where we live. So I'm enjoying looking at how they've interpreted all of the little British stuff
Yeah.
around it. Whereas like Kalos and even Unova to a lesser extent, I wasn't that interested in.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, like Kalos, I don't remember really. There was a big desert and a power plant, and
Stonehenge.
the main city looked like thingy. No, what in Kalos? In Kalos.
Yeah, there was a Stonehenge place in
Yeah, you're right. There is a
Real
Stonehenge place.
Sage. Yeah.
That's where the battle against Lysander or whatever his name
Yeah.
is takes place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Which is weird because that should really be in the Gala region, but regardless.
Yeah, I know, because I was thinking, what the hell, Stonehenge? And it wasn't, yeah.
But yeah. I'm wondering about the lack of dungeons in this game and whether that is a bad thing or a good thing or not.
Well, it just
Be-
like Sun and Moon sort of had that, but this game I think takes it to the next level of
Like
super duper linear.
Well, like Sun and Moon had the thingy challenges that kind of worked as like mini puzzles
Yeah.
inside. Because the thing I used to hate in Pokemon, and I mean I still hate in Pokemon, was stuff like Flash Cave in the original games, where you'd walk into a dungeon of thingies, and the only obstacle really, apart from the trainers and the random encounters with Zubats,
Yeah.
is that it's dark, and so you need to light it up.
Flash, yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, I don't find those sort of puzzles in a game like this that interesting. I can deal with the strength puzzles a little bit, like pushing the rocks, and I can deal with the sliding ice puzzles that are like Pokemon tradition. But other than that, I'd rather it just be a explorable area. Obviously, if it is really linear and it is just corridor Final Fantasy 13, the game, that's a bit too much in one direction.
Yeah.
But I'm also okay with them having potentially cut down on dungeons and made them a bit more like Viridian Forest levels of complex is what I read in one review.
It doesn't even get to Viridian Forest levels, I don't think. Other than the wild area, nothing. It feels like Final Fantasy 13 to me.
I wonder. This is obviously just speculation, but I'm wondering whether or not there was so much focus put on the wild areas that that's kind of took up a lot of development time. Because I feel like the wild areas is the sort of thing that people wanted from a console Pokemon game.
Yeah.
This big open, no fixed camera Pokemon walk around in the wilds. And that's why they wanted to include it in here, especially with the advent of stuff like Breath of the Wild and
For sure.
Xenoblade. But it wouldn't surprise me if like almost half the development time for this game pretty much went into making the wild area and making it dynamic and having the different environments and stuff. Even if they could be done a little better, I was showing it off on the stream, but I thought it was really funny how you're in the first area of the wild area, and it's raining really badly. But then if you walk just a bit to like the east, it just stops raining instantly because you've entered the next area.
That's still in the game. Like that's
how
it is.
I know. Oh yeah, it's still in the game. I was showing it off on stream.
Yeah.
And I was making a joke out of it, how it's basically the same as here. It's like, oh yeah, you just go to Manchester and what? There we go. Yep. It's raining already.
Yeah,
it's perfect. But it is very weird. Like, I almost feel like they should have had it be on like a timer. Like they should have almost had a day. Do they have a day and night cycle?
There's a day and night cycle. I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how in real time it is though, because I don't know if it's real time like compared to us. or if it's got its own in-game timer. I'm not sure.
Okay. I think
Uh,
what have they done in the past? Hasn't it been based on us, based on
yes,
real life
yes,
timer?
yeah.
Yeah.
I
'Cause,
think that might be it again.
it was, but I feel like they should have had the weather be a bit more dynamic.
No, me too. I feel like they should have just done what Breath of the Wild did, you know?
Yeah.
Except not rain every 5 seconds.
Yeah. I can understand some areas like the desert having very specific biomes like sandstorm and all
Yeah.
that. But like all the areas that were basically just plains should have had it rain or even potentially snow at points or wind and that should have changed up what Pokemon appear.
Yeah. See, I just wish there was better travel options because all you can do is run and go on your bike. So if you like go to a ledge of a cliff, that's it. There's just an invisible wall and you have to go right round back again. I feel like I just wish there was more traversal options. Like you could jump off of cliffs and stuff. Things like that. I don't know. Just make it feel a bit more like alive and
it makes it feel actually more like an open area.
yeah.
Although, like, it'd be a bit unrealistic to try and jump off a cliff.
I guess
you're not Link. you're just like. How old are they actually in this game? Like
the characters
14-ish, 16-ish. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think it says. I feel like we're still referenced as kids, so
yeah. Well, they've been jumping around ever since Gen 5. Where in Gen 5 they were aged up, but then I heard Gen 7 they were aged down again. So yeah. I haven't got the bike yet. The taxi service, the Corviknight taxi service, you can just do that from anywhere, can't you?
Yeah.
You get it very early in the game, like before you even
Actually,
done
that's something I found weird too. There's no. I mean, is this a nitpick? There's no fly animation for when you use the taxi or anything.
Oh, okay. What do you just fade in and fade out?
Yeah, it's just. Do you want to go to this town? Yeah. Then the screen will just go to black. There'll be an icon on the bottom right, and then you'll just get taken to the town.
I mean, it is a nitpick, but it's also a nitpick in the same way my complaint about Hop not following me is a nitpick. I think it's legitimate. It's one of those things that adds charm to the game, and that's weird that it's missing. Yeah.
And there's also like things like there's no bike music this time. There's no surf music. There's no day and night music like there was in Sun and Moon.
Okay.
A lot of things like that make the game feel a lot less unpolished than it could have.
I'm starting to see what the problem is now. The game lacks just a lot of charm.
Yeah.
Like that seems to be a big issue that people have with it because Pokemon games are charming, but outside of some of the character designs in this one, it sounds like a lot of they focus so much on the quality of life and improving the battle system that all of the other stuff in the presentation side of things,
they just
has been let down. So it's like almost like a gameplay improvement, but a presentation.
A gameplay improvement, but everything surrounding it was just like de-improvement.
I'm mind blanking on what the right word is for that, but yeah, feeling let down by all of that.
Yeah, that's the sense I get from it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Like, there's loads of like cutscenes as well, where it's like super climactic moments, and there'll be no cutscene music for it. It's shocking.
I do find that one thing I was slightly disappointed on is that like your character doesn't emote again. Like that was an issue that
I mean, he emotes, in Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon had that I heard they fixed in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but now they've just gone back to the Sun and Moon variant of it. But I could find it funny in Sun and Moon because it is like imagining a Japanese person being in Hawaii and not understanding the language and just sort of nodding along with it. But you don't get that same feeling here with that. Because I'm actually like, that was something I found really weird at the start of the game. Is it implied that we just moved here? Because like we seem to be Hop's best friend, but yet we've apparently never met his brother or people from his family. Or the professor who lives down the road that Hop knows and stuff like that. Like, there's so much that.
I mean, I can't question
we seem
that
to be
Pokemon logic. I can't question that. I don't know.
Well, every game usually contextualizes that with it being you've just moved to this town.
Yeah.
All right. With the one exceptions being like Gen 1 and Gen 2, but then in Gen 1 and Gen 2, the people at least in your hometown do know you and you know them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. so it doesn't feel too different. Like it doesn't feel so weird. But this one, no one seems to know you, despite you living here, even though your hometown. And that's also weird. Your hometown is really just 2 buildings. Your building and Hop's building, and you live in this random.
and that's what
You
I'm
live in this
telling
random
you,
small cottage, and Hop lives in this big off mansion.
Yeah, no, but like it feels big. Like visually, like the scale is really good.
Mhm.
But then there is only like 2 buildings you can go in.
I don't know why they just didn't make Wedge, because it's like, what's it called, like Stockwick or something like that. Your starting
Which
town.
Postwick.
You start Postwick. That's it, Postwick, and then Wedgehurst, which is just down the road. I
Yeah.
don't know why they just didn't make them one big town. It would have been a bit more believable then. Because I think as a starting town, I think Wedgehurst is actually really good.
It's okay.
Like, I think it's a really. I compared to past Pokemon games, I think it's a really interesting. Like, it looks big, but it gives you just enough of the area to explore that it doesn't feel like you're being cheaped out like it sounds in the later areas of the game. It gives off the right sort of country feeling. It feels like a proper nice starting town, and I like that. I like that. But although, no, I just like that. There is no buts. It's a good town,
Yeah.
and I like the Manchester-based one as well. Like, I think that's also a big looking town, but I think it gives you the right amount of it to explore. Because I get what people are like.
I actually really disagree there. It looked really good, but it felt way too limiting.
I don't know. See, I feel like there's got to be some kind of limit, right? I feel like areas like Kalos, like the main town in Kalos, which name completely skips my mind. Lumios, yeah, that's it. I should know that because it's in Smash.
Yeah.
Lumios City is very big and lets you explore a lot of it, but there's not much to do in it until like there are some hidden post game missions if you go down certain alleyways, but most of the alleyways don't really have much in them at all. And I prefer that they like streamlined that process and not had a massive city with nothing to do in it, which is why I feel like the Manchester-based city is the right size for it. I do wish that they'd let you go into some of the other shops, because they clearly have a bunch of shops lined up, and then some you can go into and some you just can't for seemingly no reason.
Yeah, and
but
that's it.
like
No, but I wish you could go
even
to
if there
the
was nothing to
back
really
of
do in
the.
there.
I wish you could go to the back of the stadium, because you can't. You can only go to the front side, and that's it.
Yeah, but that's I don't see a reason why you would need to go to the back of the stadium.
It just makes it feel more believable.
I guess, but I like, again, this is what I mean of like, it's like a diminishing returns. Is there a real reason to have all of that rendered and accessible and go there if the only thing there was like a 1 TM?
I mean, they could add stuff to be there.
I mean, they could, but I don't feel like they need to, and they could put the focus on somewhere else. And that might be part of the problem.
No,
it
but
might not
that's the
feel like
problem.
to you that they haven't put stuff
Yeah,
elsewhere.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't. Like, it just felt really shallow.
But without knowing for that for sure, like, who knows? They could have done up that city and then made post game the later cities even worse than they apparently
Okay,
sound like
right.
they
So
are.
this isn't a spoiler, but I'll just tell you, one of the cities, I swear to you, is one straight line, and that's the whole city and the gym combined.
Okay, is it meant to be a big city or a small city?
I don't know what it's meant to be, but I know what it is. It shows a bunch of like shops, but you can't go in them. The only building you can go into is the Pokemon Center.
Yeah.
So you'll know when you get there.
Yeah. Yeah, that does sound bad. Like I'm fine with them having small cities. I'm fine with them not being able to let you explore every nook and cranny of a big city from the outside, as long as the stuff you are exploring is fleshed out and meaningful. Yeah. Which I guess, it doesn't sound like it is.
No,
especially as the game gets further on. Which does definitely scream like this game was rushed to be out now, because they had to be out now.
Yeah.
As opposed to being given more time.
You know that big London city?
Yeah, the one which one I'm assuming is the final city.
Yeah. That was so disappointing, man. Oh my god! Like, there's these massive billboards and everything, and it looks like there's shops you could go under, but you just can't.
That's a shame. That's annoying.
Yeah.
Like that's something I didn't notice. Like they've added the train system in this,
Yeah.
which is neat. You know, trains are obviously a big part of the UK, but I
Yep.
almost feel like that's there so that they have less routes that you can travel down.
No, and that's another. Oh no, I'm complaining too much. But that is another issue I've got is that everywhere feels separated from each other. Like to get to the London place, you have to get a train first. You can't just travel there by foot. And to get into the wild area, you have to get the train to the wild area. And it feels like you're on islands when you're not. It's not a lore.
Because I did find it very weird when you go to Professor Magnolia's house.
Yeah.
And she's basically at the end of Route 2.
Yep.
And then the game's just like, right, now you've got to go all the way back
All
to
the way
the
back,
start.
yeah, it's a dead
You
end.
can get a train to get to the next area. You can't. And I was just sitting there thinking, really? Like, why can't I just continue? Even if it's a straight line going past Magnolia's house to the wild area, that feels more interesting and it makes the world feel more connected than having to go back and get on a train. Like I feel like I assumed going in that the train would be another form of quick travel.
Yeah.
Like it would be like the train in past areas where there are
so it's a quick travel, but
far away places.
You can also travel there normally. No, that's
yeah. Then later on you would get fly, which you get really early in this game.
Yeah.
Which we were talking about on stream, wondering whether that was a good idea or not. And I mean, I don't mind it as long as you obviously still have to walk to town to town. But it is a bit weird because Fly is usually a very late game.
I see, and I've got another. I've got another nitpick with the trains. It doesn't even show you going on a train. The screen just fades to black really quickly and then fades back out. And the loading time is good and fast, but it doesn't even feel like you went on a train. It doesn't show you go on it. I think it shows you go on it for a cutscene once.
Yeah, at the beginning.
In the whole game. Yeah, in the beginning. Yeah.
Which really shows how like modern day kids they are because they're both you and Hopper just sitting there on the train playing on your phone.
Yeah, playing on your phone. Oh, I want a Rotom phone. They look so cool. They fly, and like if you want to take a selfie, you don't have to hold the phone up. It flies.
I thought Rotom was a legendary Pokemon. It's just apparently everyone's got one in their pocket now.
He's been subject to a bloody phone.
Yeah, they mass-produced Rotoms, and now everyone has one, but no one ever uses them to battle. Which it makes that's an interesting thought. Like, if you were out of Pokemon, could you just like throw your Rotom phone at someone?
And can they charge up their phones using Pikachu's? Quick charge.
Yeah, why does Rotom run out of power?
I know, he can't, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't. We've never seen it run out of power.
It's true, that's true. Let's talk about the Pokemon Camp, which is, this version of Pokemon ME.
I've never played it. Not once. I didn't
Have
even
you not?
use it.
You never did it?
Have you?
I did. Yes, I did use it. Yeah, it's all right. I like the you have all your Pokemon walk around, obviously, and then you can call them over to you, and then you can talk to them, and they'll say, "Oh, do you want to play with them? Do you want to?" It says talk to them, but you're obviously not talking to them.
Yeah,
it just gives you a little status update with like telling you, "Oh, this Pokemon wants to play with the other Pokemon, or this Pokemon wants to spend more time with you," which is like a neat way of showing affection in the game. Yeah. And then you can play catch, where you can throw balls, and then they go and get the ball back. And obviously, you can make curry, the British delicacy. But that's all right. It uses the Joy-Con's motion controls pretty well for those sections.
Yeah,
like you can just do it with the buttons, but you can also like throw the ball itself. Like you can just throw the ball, or you can when you're making the curry, you're doing proper stirring.
Yeah,
like because I had the camera on for stream. You can see me like stirring my hand back and forth and being like fanning the flames, feeling like playing Mario and Sonic game or something.
Oh, Mario Sonic.
But I like it. But I did notice that I don't think you can actually pet the Pokemon in this game, which is a bit weird because like that was obviously a big part of Pokemon ME and in Sun and Moon's version of it. Like you use the touch screen to pet them.
You can't pet the Pokemon.
I don't think you can, unless I've missed it, because I've only tried it the one time.
No, but
To be fair. And I got a bit bored. I got a bit bored of it and then left.
But I love petting my Pokemon. That was like one of my favorite parts of Let's Go, because Eevee's so adorable that when you pet them, it's super cute.
which is why I find that really weird, because you're right, it was in Let's Go as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like they couldn't do it for this one. And while you can play games with them and all that, the fact that you just can't use, you should be able to have the motion control and just have a little hand icon appear.
That's what you did with Let's Go. I say the exact same thing.
Yeah. I'll have to check it again just to make extra sure. The place where I actually cut the stream off was another person's camp. And you can actually set up camp with other people and have their Pokemon also walk around.
Oh, yeah, because
which I thought was pretty neat.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. And then you can play with their Pokemon, or their Pokemon can play with your Pokemon. So I might try it first thing and be like, can I pet my Yamper?
Yeah, I want to pet Yamper. Oh, what?
Yeah. Because if you can't, that's another charm thing that's missing. Quite. Like, that's something that really should be there, and I don't understand why it's not. But,
yeah. X and Y syndrome, man. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting now from talking about this.
Oh my god! I so hope I have not ruined it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope everyone does enjoy it. But
no, I mean, I reckon I'll still enjoy going through it because I want to see what all the new Pokemon are like, and I've enjoyed it so far. I'm hoping the experience of streaming it allows me to enjoy it with people rather than playing it on my own. I think that might make it more interesting, as long as I don't do what I did the other day, where I like exhausted myself streaming for like 4 hours. But that's because I was really enjoying it. Like, originally only intended to play it for about 2 hours, but I was having a blast with starting it, with all the starting stuff.
And that's true.
So
that's how I was like as well. I was enjoying the first 3 hours of the game too. It was really cool.
Actually, that's something I like that we haven't brought up yet. I like that the Pokemon that can walk around, you can still find Pokemon in wild grass. But even like I thought that Pokemon walking around would be something exclusive to the wild areas.
But then it turns out it's not, and thank God for that, man.
Yeah. Like, with the fact that you can see the Pokemon walking about in the grass makes catching Pokemon and streamlines that whole process. And there are obviously some that are still hidden in the grass that don't appear. I actually found I failed to catch it, annoyingly, but I found a Seedot very early in the game. Like, it was one of the first. In fact, it was the first non-Galarian Pokemon I saw.
Yeah,
of all things. But I could only manage to find it once, so I imagine it must be really rare. Which is why I'm annoyed I took it out.
No. But no, you are right.
Yeah.
I do like the walking Pokemon. It adds to the immersion, and it also lets the player choose if they want to do a wild battle or not.
Yeah. It gives proper agency, and they don't even stick to the grass. I caught Yamper, I saw it walking in the street.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this a wild Pokemon, or is this like someone's Pokemon? So I went over to it and it started the battle, and I was like, oh shit. It was the only Yamper I'd seen, so I was like, I'm catching this for sure.
Yeah. No, I went for Yamper.
But I like that. It wasn't in the grass, it was just walking about. It felt more immersive.
Yes.
Which is good. And I like that in the wild area as well, with the Pokemon that are more powerful than you. Although I'm annoyed that you can't catch them.
Yeah, you can't catch them, which discouraged me from searching the wild area at all.
Yeah, like, so early on it told me when you get the first note that says some Pokemon could be stronger than you. So if you run into a Pokemon that's too powerful, run. And I was like, nah. And so I found an Onix that was like twice my level.
Yeah.
And I managed to KO him with my Sobble. It was incredible.
Nice.
I used the weather effect bonuses and all sorts to boost up Sobble's water attack. It's a water pulse to take down this Onix in 2 shots. But I got the Onix down really low in health, and I was like, oh shit, I could probably catch it now. And then it just wouldn't let me. They wouldn't even give me the option to, basically, pretty much. Which was a bit. I get it, because you'd overpower yourself if you did manage to do what I did. But at the same time, it feels like I'm less motivated to try and catch them. Like, I guess it's trying to encourage you to come back to the area, I suppose, when you're stronger, which is the same thing that stuff like Xenoblade did, which is very clearly based on that idea.
Yeah, but in
But
if there was something like in the wild area, there's nothing more you can do other than catch Pokemon and wild like the Dynamax Pokemon, right? So what's going to
yeah,
encourage you to explore area? Like what's like it should be risk versus reward. What's the reward?
yeah, that's the best way to sum that up. Because in
Yeah,
Xenoblade, if you manage to take down an enemy that's a really, really high level, then you're rewarded substantially if you do
yeah.
it at a low level. Whereas this game, I guess the reward is that you just get a lot of EXP. Because to be
Mm,
fair, when I took down the Onyx, my Sobble jumped 2 levels, and every other Pokemon in my party jumped a whole level.
damn. Okay. Mm.
So I suppose you can do it to make grinding a little easier if you even need to grind in
But
this
no,
game.
and that's yeah, you don't. Like not I didn't anyways. I thought the game was super easy and I didn't grind once.
Do you think they've actually that's a good question as someone who's beaten the game. Do you think they've have balanced it this time around the fact that all your party Pokemon get
No.
experience? You don't think they have? Okay.
It's not super bad. I mean, I wasn't superiorly like super duper overpowered,
Okay.
but it was just me using one Pokemon the whole time.
Score bunny.
Yeah, Score Bunny. Super like
That
he
might
gets
just be a
this.
score bunny problem.
It might, you know, honestly, I think it is. He's got this move called Pyro Ball, and it's super 120 damage, and like everything, like you're basically super effective against everything. Because I don't know why that's what they did with these trainers. So it's super OP. You never usually need to switch out, and yeah, it's not terrible, but I wouldn't necessarily say that they've particularly balanced it around the XP share. No.
Okay. Because that was obviously a big problem in Sun and Moon. They didn't balance it around there because they couldn't guarantee you were using it.
Yeah.
And that just meant if you did use the XP share, it was OP.
Yeah.
You just ended up over leveled significantly. So I was hoping they'd improve that in this one. I guess I'll have to see if it's a score bunny problem or an actual
I think
balancing
Well, for
problem.
you specifically, I think you're going to be over leveled because you've
Okay.
been. It sounds like you've been sidetracking more than I have. I didn't. No, but I didn't. Yeah, I didn't sidetrack at all, and I was still over leveled. So I don't know.
Yeah, I looked around the wild area a bit because I wanted to try. I wanted to try the raid battles, and to be honest, they're pretty boring.
Yeah, yeah, they are.
I
Man.
wasn't interested much in how that was. The only thing I found really fun, enjoyable about it was I had to use CPU partners, and I'll get to this in a moment. Why? But I had like this trainer kept showing up with a magic carp.
Yeah.
And when I see it on the stream, I was sitting there and I'm like, oh, who's the loser who's brought a magic carp to this raid battle? And then it does hydro pump and completely
Oh.
destroys.
You went,
And I was like, what? I'm sorry, what? Can magic carp even learn hydro pump? I was so confused by it, but it
Oh
was
my god.
amazing. But yeah, the raid battles they were pretty easy. Like it gives you like 10 turns to do it in. And I'm pretty sure I did every single one in like 2 turns.
Oh really? Yeah, I didn't even know there was a limit. I didn't even know there was a limit. I've
It
beaten them
tells you
all.
it's either everyone gets knocked out or it reaches the 10th turn.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
You have to beat it in that time. But yeah, I've done every battle in 2, so
Wow.
yeah, which was
Hmm.
just meh. It feels. I like the whole look of those battles, like the 2 kaiju monsters
Yeah,
squaring off against each other. That's cool,
I just
but it's all looks and no substance.
yeah, no, and that's the like if that's the only big new feature of the game and it's not really that fun, then it's like all we have left is do the 8 gyms and that's the whole game.
At least it doesn't. At least it doesn't affect the competitive game. Although you just describing it like that does giving me the worst thing it could possibly be compared to, and that's Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. Which pretty much had one unique gimmick, the Ultra
Yeah.
Smash, and then that was it. And that
I'll
also made them giant, didn't it?
It
There was the
should.
giant mode. So,
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, I'll give it a bit more credit than Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, but
a lot of describing this game does sound like an early Wii U title to me.
Yeah.
I think a problem with a lot of early Wii U titles, and the reason why Nintendo kept delaying them, is that they went into it woefully unprepared,
Yeah.
and so we were stuck with a bunch of games that felt like Wii games. If we even got a game, and it wasn't until really 3D World, a year into the Wii U's life cycle, that we finally got a game that felt like it was built for the Wii U.
Oh, I love 3D World, man.
Other
That
than
game is underrated.
Nintendo Land, to be fair, I love 3D World. Me and my friends actually beat 3D World on the day it came out.
Yeah. Wow.
We did like 4 players non-stop, like 8 hours, and beat it. But we got up to unlocking Rosalina, and then we decided that was enough to call it a night.
That game's fantastic. I know a lot of the fans don't like it because it's not a true next-gen 3D game, but for what I was trying to do, I thought it was excellent.
I reckon people look on it more fondly now that we got Mario Odyssey.
Mario Odyssey, yeah.
I think it's the same thing that probably would happen with Federation Force if they re-release that. Now that we got Prime 4 confirmed and Metroid 2 Samus Returns out, but if they announced they were porting Federation Force, I don't think people would be too mad about it, because that game's not a bad game. It just shouldn't have been on the 3DS.
That would not sell. Oh my god!
I reckon it would sell better on the Switch than it did the 3DS.
I don't.
I think
apparently the new Mario and Sonic game didn't sell that well.
Did it not? That's a shame.
Yeah, it's one of the least selling Mario and Sonics in Japan, at least.
And it's the Tokyo one as well. Oof.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oof.
It's a big oof there. I mean, the Mario and Sonic team keep doing stuff that annoys me. Like they're taking such minor, small steps.
Yeah.
Where I feel like it's really simple stuff, like, why don't you just have certain characters be playable always and not exclusive to certain games?
I don't know why they started doing that. That is so bizarre.
Yeah, it's weird, because clearly they're playable, so just make them playable in every game. So I feel like they expanded the roster for Mario and Sonic like once, and then
that was like Winter, and that's it. It's been the same roster ever since.
Yeah. The Mario and Sonic 2020 did come out at the wrong time, though. I will give it that. It was coming out between Pokemon and Luigi's Mansion, and that's just on Switch, also coming out around the same time as stuff like Death Stranding and Just Dance and FIFA, and it just was it didn't prime itself up to.
No, and there was only 2 remixes in the whole game as well.
What, music-wise?
Yeah, the remixes, there were horrible remixes, and there were only 2 of them. Because the Mario and Sonic games are usually really well known for their good remixes.
Oh, Mario and Sonic is a series where I really enjoyed the first one, and then despite owning all the others, I don't like it.
Oh no, I love the London one. I think the London one is
one, but I never played it.
Oh no, that was the best one, I think. I love it.
How was it? I just got I played the Rio Winter Olympics one, and I just got really bored of it.
Yeah.
So I just didn't want to do it. Yeah, I am implying that I don't want to play as Zavok in the Olympics. I'm all right with that.
He's the greatest character known to man. I'm so glad they added him to Team Sonic Racing.
He's the best. He's the best Sonic villain. He's
of all time. Yeah, he's better
of all time. Yeah,
better than Metal
a million times better than Chaos. Like, it's because Sonic Lost World is an iconic game in the Sonic.
It's an iconic yeah.
Oh, fucking Sonic. Oh, actually, sidetracking to Sonic, because I know you talk about that a lot. Yep. Have you ever read the Archie comics from Sonic?
No, I've not, but I know a lot of them are super duper weird.
Yeah, and I've been somewhat interested. Like, back when I was at uni, I wanted to try and get into them, and so I bought one that I bought like 2 novels version of them. One was apparently a special they did for an anniversary. It was like Volume 0, which has all the pilot ones in it. And then I think the first one was like the first set of Sonic novels. And then I just found out like the first like 5 or 6 chapters. But yeah, then I realized it was like only 5 chapters, and it's like an over 200 issue series with spin-offs and side chapters.
Yeah,
and all sorts like that.
Too much for me to catch up on, that's for sure.
Western comics really difficult to get into. Stuff. Oh yeah, no, Sumin, I know which writer you're talking about. This is why I want to read it, because an article popped up on my Twitter about someone who had just read through all the Ken Penders.
Oh, Ken Penders, is that
storylines.
who we're talking about? Oh my god.
And like I was reading some of the nonsense that guy had written, and I became really interested in actually reading it myself.
Yeah. Ken.
Yeah. And so I was like, I actually looked it up the other day, and I was going to start reading it from the Super Genesis wave that apparently reset everything and removed all of his original characters.
Wow.
From the thing. You start watching Sonic at around 190. So I think that was where I was looking, but almost instantly I was introduced to characters that were clearly there from the beginning before Ken Penders that I didn't know. So I might just start from the very beginning.
Wow. That's going to be a lot of dedication.
It's going to be a lot, yeah. But I could do it. I've finished all of Konosuba that's out, so I need something else to read right now. It could be something that I bring up on like an iPad or something and read in bed.
Like, oh my god, it just looks like proper fan fiction. I just
Oh, I know, but like I said earlier on, I like Sonic when it's super cheesy. I'm just hoping that this isn't too over the top 90s.
I think it will be. I think
it might be. Yeah. I'm sure it probably gets better as they go along. I think it's just all the original stuff.
Yeah. Hey, at least we got that new movie design that was good.
Yeah. I reckon that movie is going to do really well.
That'd be nice,
despite the fact that it's probably not good.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be great. And if you dare say that in the internet, by the way, you will get destroyed. If you say that, I still don't think the Sonic movie is going to be that good, you will get destroyed.
I was talking about it with a mate who was wondering whether or not the original movie Sonic design didn't ever exist and was done as this was all a big marketing
PR stunt. Yeah, that's been
a stunt. Yeah,
big thing. I don't.
But I haven't caught up on the conversation with him because I don't think it is purely from the fact that they what's the right word? What's the right word to describe this? They made merchandise and stuff of the old Sonic design.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would have done that.
And posters and everything.
Money. Yeah, posters, masks, figures. That are all now like going to be super rare collectible items.
No, but it's just it's shocking that they thought that was a good design. Like that is beyond.
When people who aren't so familiar with the games works on it and makes stories, then that's what happens. This is the exact problem that Ken Penders had because he'd never played a Sonic game.
No, but then that's where my problem with the movie lies. If they thought that was a good design, then what do they think is going to be a good Sonic movie? And obviously they can't change the actual movie. All they can change is the design. So
I mean, it's going to be a very typical.
I think so too. Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about because I don't know how much more we have to say about Pokemon, but let's finish that topic and then we can talk about the Sonic movie. Okay. So I had some ideas about it. It might be good, but just to circle back around to Pokemon. One of the issues I have had with the game so far, which has really bugged me, is the online connectivity.
Really?
But I don't know if it's a me problem or not, and you might be able to help me with this. But I went into a raid battle and I couldn't connect to anybody, which is why I had to have the CPU ones. I put the Wonder Trade equivalent or whatever it's called, the Surprise Trade, on very early in the game. And it like 3 hours, I still hadn't connected to anyone.
Really? I haven't tested the online
trade. Like it's been, and again, I don't know if it's a me problem. I don't know if because I was streaming and then trying to connect to the online with the Switch, it wasn't working. But then I don't have this problem with Smash Brothers. I've streamed myself playing Smash Brothers online.
Yeah,
and that stream went really well. So
came out and server overload or something. I don't know.
Maybe, but I feel like it should be like. That's when everyone would be online, right? That's when it should be easiest to find people on day one of the game launching.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. And I might try it off screen for a little bit. Because I managed to connect to the internet with Mystery Gift and stuff like that. Because I downloaded that Meowth that you get for getting the game early.
Yeah.
The one with the special Dynamax.
Yeah.
No, it's not the Galarian one, the regular one that has the really tall, long cats.
Oh my god! Yeah, I totally forgot that behind? Yeah.
Well, everyone can get it because
Yeah, because it's right now. It's yeah.
the mystery gift and do it. And then I also apparently I didn't know I was going to get this, but I got sent a code for different clothes.
Oh.
Like do that, like a special gold tracksuit and gold bag
Yeah.
to wear that I can wear. I'm not going to use it because I've got my guy looking like my little avatar with a red hat and tan clothes. I just need a better jacket, but that's beside the point. But yeah, no, the online. Yeah, you have to go to the Y button menu and press the plus button to connect to online. I'm pretty sure I did that. Unless that's I'm gonna quickly look at this.
Yeah.
Oh wait, actually, I don't know if I've got Pokemon in because I was playing Luigi's Mansion.
I better get.
Never mind. I will look at this after the fact. But if that's the case, that's why it wasn't, because I had to jump through an extra step to connect to online for some reason.
That'd be
That's
funny.
really stupid. Like, why am I not? Why did it not connect me when I tried to get into a raid battle? Like, it connected me when I went onto Mystery Gift.
Yeah.
So why would I have to do something else? Because I did notice, because after the fact, I went to my settings to check, and my Switch just didn't seem to be connected to the internet at some point. Yeah, I don't understand why that is, because it was connected when I started. Because I went on the eShop and I went to try and download all the stuff. So I don't know, because people are reporting that this game messes up with your SD card potentially.
Or if you've got the download one, yeah.
Yeah, which I know has scared some people off of doing it. Although, if correct me if I'm wrong, all it does is potentially get rid of some games that you just have to re-download. It doesn't actually touch your save file.
I thought it corrupted the save file.
Oh no,
That's what I heard.
I've heard a mixture of things about this. Some people said first people were saying like it completely fucks up your SD card and bricks it. Some people were even saying it bricks your Switch. But neither of those are true.
I don't buy
neither
that.
of those are true.
Yeah.
I think that's just Game Freak haters.
Yeah, trying to
push that. And then I heard some people say that Smash Brothers and Mario Kart had a similar problem, but on less of a scale, or people didn't notice. And then that's another thing. I've heard some people saying this has happened before with other games. The only reason it's getting big now is because it's happening with Pokemon, which people are looking for stuff to nitpick about.
Yeah.
Which I don't know the validity of that, because this is the first time I've technically heard that this has ever been an issue. But from what I've understood from people is it just some people said it only affects those who hacked their Switches, but then someone else came out and said that's not true. And I think that person was a hacker, so I kind of believe them on that, but a notable one.
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense. It would make sense if it was the hacked version of the game.
Yeah.
But if it's someone with a hacked Switch who downloaded the normal version, I don't know.
I don't think it would affect some stuff. From what I've understood, it doesn't harm save data. It just sometimes it'll just like erase games that you've downloaded previously for some reason.
That's super weird.
Like, yeah, but you can just re-download them again and it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know why it does that.
It's a bit of a hassle.
I'm just reading someone's comment. Saves are saved on the console until the console runs out of space, and it goes to the SD card. For 99% of people, it'd only delete games. Oh, okay then. Right. So that's why. So it only deletes games because it's on the console. Because that's where they get saved, right? So it's all saves are saved on the console.
Yeah.
Right. All right. I get that now. Wow. But I don't know why it corrupts SD cards.
Yeah, no.
Or if it does or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to complain about the online, because that is actually one notable problem I've been having, and one really annoying, serious problem I've been having.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think so far I've enjoyed it, although it sounds like it may get a bit repetitive and less interesting as it goes on.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen to you, but
if it's like the Gala, if it's like X and Y, I probably won't enjoy it too much. I'll probably enjoy it more than I did X and Y, purely out of the fact that it is the Gala region, and I'll still be enjoying all the noticeable stuff, and maybe the Pokemon designs will also be better.
Mm-hmm.
But it may not excel past that if it's really dull on the other side.
Yeah.
In which case, I'm hoping they work to improve it. And at least with the Diamond and Pearl remake, they've got everything already sort of made originally, so they can't really cut stuff out from it. They're going to have to.
Oh, would you
work on
just
everything.
watch them? You watch them. What they'll
They've been pretty
do?
good.
They'll only
They've been pretty
remake
good with
Diamond.
remakes.
They'll only remake Diamond and Pearl, and it won't be Platinum. So they
Oh,
will
yeah.
not. They won't give us the cool Distortion World stuff, which they should.
I mean, that's what they did with Oras. They didn't remake Emerald, so we didn't get any of the Battle Frontier stuff. With the Rayquaza stuff.
Oh, what they had a billboard that said "in construction."
Yeah, I know. Nothing happened, and they removed the gambling thing as well because of.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at least Oras had extra story stuff with the Mega stuff.
I mean, I reckon they'd do that. They'd probably do the same thing. They'd probably add Mega Evolutions into Diamond and Pearl, and then add
No, it
extra
wouldn't
stuff.
be
I
Mega.
mean,
It'd be Gigantamax forms or something.
think so.
Yeah,
I mean, if they're really not that interesting, I could see them going back to Megas again for it. I
don't see Megas ever coming back. I think that's a done concept.
I wonder if maybe they'll add Sinnoh forms of stuff. Maybe that's going to be the new thing.
Sinnoh. Okay, that would be cool.
I think that the regional forms seem to be the most popular new Pokemon edition, and in this game especially, like I like that the regional forms also come with their own evolutions and stuff.
Yes,
like that's because I really enjoyed the extra evolutions that we used to get up until Gen 5.
Yeah,
and then from Gen 5 onwards, they just scrapped it.
Yeah,
no more babies, no more.
I feel like didn't they actually
levels.
scrap? They scrapped it after Gen 4, didn't they?
Yeah, because which I get for Gen 5, because the whole idea behind Gen 5 is that every Pokemon
is new.
was new, and you wouldn't get able to get any of the old ones until post game, and that's an idea that I'm in the minority of really liking, because it forces you to get used to some of the new Pokemon and not rely on the old one, which, to be honest, I kind of feel like this game should have done at that point. If they were not going to bring back every Pokemon, they should have just been like, we'll just make people use just the new ones for now, for most of the game, and then post-game we can add all the old ones back in.
Yeah.
But I feel like they should have done that to alleviate from the fact that not every Pokemon is here. But I can see a Diamond and Pearl remake having every Pokemon from the first 4 gens, because they kind of have to, because they were already there in the original. But then only adding a select few Pokemon from Gens 5 onwards. Especially if they do especially if they do decide to do Sinnoh forms, they're the Pokemon that will probably get them, the Gen 5 onwards ones.
Yeah, actually, this game, Gen 5, like there's a lot of Gen 5 Pokemon in Sword and Shield. Kind of shocking. Like they get a lot of love. And by that, maybe that. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm surprised they didn't bring back every Gen 1 Pokemon, to be honest.
Because they already had them in Let's Go. Yeah, I said the same thing.
You can still like connect, because I have the Pokeball Plus accessory.
Yeah.
Which I annoyingly wish you could actually play the game with it in this one, because it's a really cool controller. But I can live with just taking my Pokemon out of Sword and Shield and putting them on my little Pokeball and taking them for a walk with me, because you can apparently do that in this game.
Nice.
I saw the setting feature for it, but that does make me wonder. Then, like, I've got a Pokemon already in it. If I try and connect, will it not let me send? Will it tell me to go back to Let's Go and release the Pokemon there? Because this Pokemon doesn't exist in Galar.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like to future-proof that, they should have at least put all the Gen 1 ones in. And I know people might turn around and be like, that's Gen 1 bias. But I mean,
yeah. No, but it makes sense.
I mean, no, it makes sense, yeah. But I mean, I reckon that's going to be a thing going forward. Maybe what they're going to start doing, maybe they'll do a third version of Sword and Shield, but this one will have every Pokemon in it.
Oh no! See, I already said that, and I think that's a sneaky move.
It is a sneaky move
to just sell the third game. Yeah, I feel like that would up, but people would get over it. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people. Well, no, a lot of people will like accept it, because they'll be like, "Oh, this is what Sword and Shield should have been first.
Yeah.
Now I'll buy it instead of skipping out on Sword and Shield."
Yeah.
And yeah, like, but I don't feel like that's that's more like a backlash move, right? The backlash of having every Pokemon cut means they'll make more effort to force them all into every other game, even if it means cutting other content. And that's also another negative I'm worried about. Like, I'd rather they not bring back every Pokemon if it meant expanding in other areas.
Yeah.
If we get a Pokemon game in the future that has all 1,000 odd Pokemon, but it's like this game and is really linear and doesn't have much to do outside of it, and they're like, yeah, well, we put so much focus on bringing everyone back, we couldn't do much in the other areas.
No, and that's another thing. They said in interviews that there's loads of new features in this game, and that's one of the reasons for not having all the Pokemon. Then just wasn't a lot of features, and it feels like there was less features than past games. So I was just like, what?
Though I guess that we've rambled on about Pokemon for like an hour and a half now. I don't know if you have any closing thoughts on it.
Just that everything I was worrying about pretty much came true, because one of my big worries was that the trailers just were not showing any new features or anything. They were only showing new Pokemon, nothing else. And I was like, okay, it's fine if they're hiding the new features, but my big worry is that there's just nothing to show. And from what I played, there was nothing to show.
I'm kind of wondering if for the next game, would people think it's better if they just get rid of the root idea entirely and just make everything a wild area? Like, have it be like an actual open world.
Yeah,
Pokemon
that would be
game.
that would be new. That would be new.
Different.
I'd be
it wouldn't feel as linear, even if you are meant to just be going from one town to the other.
Yeah.
But I also wonder, would that like make it really difficult to have proper dungeons and stuff?
Yeah.
Or would you have like pocket areas like caves that are then the traditional linear style, well, traditional Pokemon route style, and those would be what the dungeon equivalent is? I almost wonder if that's what they should do for the next game now that I'm thinking about it out loud.
See, I know everyone's like, oh my god, Pokemon's just formula. Like, to an extent, I can sort of agree on that, but it's like, if it works, don't fix it. But don't streamline it so hard that it's basically playing by itself.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically a movie. So I would be totally
really
open to the idea. Yeah, a movie with terrible cutscenes. So I would be totally open to a wild area for the whole game. Yeah.
That's a really good idea. Watch them never use it, but
I think the wild area in this game is just too small. Like, you can't really go anywhere other than 2 cities.
Yeah. It seems like it's segmented off, and it's folk. How do you pronounce that word? A folks open world. Like, it's pretending to look like something from Breath of the Wild or Xenoblade.
Yeah,
it's actually just a bunch of
it's so
secluded section. But I'm more willing, because this is the first time they've tried it, and it's clearly not the big focus of the game. It's more like, oh shit, people expect this from a console Pokemon game, so we have to put it in some form. That as long as they expand on it in next games and not just cut the idea completely, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt again on that one. Yeah. But
Game Freak likes cutting stuff completely. They really like
that is very true. It's very true. Well, hopefully, there you go, Game Freak. If you're listening to this, make the next game focus solely on wild areas.
Yes.
Because even if it isn't like massively amazing, it's at least different enough that people will appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Just
but do make it amazing.
Yeah, make it amazing, and don't make your roots Final Fantasy 13 roots. That'd be great.
All right. We got just under 30 minutes because we usually make these 2 hours long. Let's talk about the Sonic movie.
All right, I'm sure some of my viewers right there will appreciate that. What was the last topic we were talking about on the movie?
We kind of segued on from the movie. We only really touched upon the movie very briefly about whether or not it was a marketing ploy, changing the design and stuff.
Well, apparently Tyson Hess, they got him on, obviously, to redesign Sonic. Apparently, he said it was not a stunt. But like,
I believe
I believe it, but like, it's of course they're gonna say that. They're not gonna want to say it was a stunt, but. No, I buy it only because they did all the marketing material, and that's like a big waste of money. If they really wanted to do a stunt, they would have only put out a trailer. I think.
Yeah, and I don't think. I mean, I don't think they would have changed. I mean, the release date was pushed back like by a good 4 months.
Oh no, and they had a really solid release window. So
Yeah.
that's a time spot that is very, very good.
Yeah,
They
like I
actually-
feel like if it was a PR stunt, they would have said it was like coming out in summer and then pushed it back to
Yeah,
November, as opposed to it being the other way around.
yeah.
But I was actually thinking about it the other day because I think this movie will be a financial success
I
purely
hope so.
from the brand recognition. Even if the movie is painfully average,
Yeah.
like a lot of those live action mascot movies tend to be.
Detective Pikachu.
That's the thing. Detective Pikachu, I think it was a financial success, and I really enjoyed Detective Pikachu, even
No,
though the story was so simple.
I heavily dislike that movie. Oh my
But
god.
I think, I mean, I spoke. My friend who's a big film guy, he didn't like the movie. But
oh really? Yes,
yeah.
I feel validated.
Like we were both excited to go see it because we're both Pokemon fans, and then we came
Yeah.
out of it, and I enjoyed it, and he didn't. And he said it was just he didn't enjoy it because it was predictable. The story wasn't interesting.
What did he
But
think of the acting? I
Mm.
thought the acting was really bad.
Oh, I can't remember now. I think it
acting
was
got
all
right
right. I think
movie
I
for me.
remember I don't think either of us liked the girl in it.
No, I didn't like any of them.
No, but I
No,
didn't
but you know what
mind.
I don't get? Like, how can Tim not recognize the voice of his own dad? It doesn't make sense. Like, if I heard my own dad as a Pikachu, I'd be like, what the hell? You sound just like my dad. Like, I don't know.
That is true, yeah. But I really wonder how they're going to do a sequel. Like, didn't they confirm they're doing a sequel to Pokemon Detective Pikachu? How does that work? If
I don't know. I remember. Oh God, yeah, we're getting the Detective Pikachu game next year, aren't we?
Yeah,
For
the Switch, which was always going to happen. That's why I didn't bother buying it on 3DS.
I'm excited to see
this
that.
is going to happen.
I reckon that game's gonna look good graphically, and it's gonna show up Sword and Shield.
That game should have released this year when Detective Pikachu did. I don't understand why it didn't. Same for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. That should have released when Endgame did this year.
Yeah. Oh
and
no.
so should the Avengers game that Square Enix are working on. But whatever. Whatever. Missing the boat, but that's neither here nor there.
No, and they need no. You know what they need to do? They need a Sonic game around the release of the movie.
Sega weren't actively involved really much in this film until they released the trailer, and then they stepped in to be like, no.
No, but everyone's going to be buzzing around Sonic when the movie comes. They had a game to
yeah.
it doesn't.
Sega could time something, even if it's just like a collection of something.
No, I know, yeah. Like, it doesn't have to be a movie game. It just could be another Sonic game that happens to come out at the same time.
Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 to the Switch.
To the Switch, please. Hell yeah, yeah, I know. It's so easy. It's easy money. Like, I don't get why they haven't done that.
They've been teasing bringing Dreamcast games to the Switch as part of the Sega
Ages, yeah.
And then like Sega Ages has been so weird because I feel like it didn't do very well financially.
Oh no, that's sad because M2, the people who do all the ports, they're really good.
Yeah, no, the ports are really good ports.
Yeah.
I just think they're porting the wrong games personally. I don't know if it's just that they haven't figured out how to get Saturn and Dreamcast games on the Switch or not. But like we're just getting the same Sega Ages games that we always get.
Yeah,
the same Genesis Mega Drive games, and with the few like Fantasy Zone Arcade and the Outrun. Is it? Is that Sega? Yeah.
Yep.
It's fine. Like I like the occasional ones, and we're getting a lot of Puyo Puyo love, which is nice.
Oh my god, Puyo! I mean, it's not bad. I'm very bad at Puyo. I can't do it.
I'm also not great at Puyo Puyo, but I enjoy Puyo Puyo. I enjoy it a lot, actually.
Because I've got Puyo Puyo Tetris, and I like the Tetris part a lot, not Puyo.
No, I like both of them. I even bought the Puyo Puyo without Tetris, which just turned out to be the same game as Puyo Puyo Tetris, but without Tetris. I don't know what I was expecting, but it was only £8, so I'm not
Fair enough.
about
not
it.
Too bad.
But yeah, going back to the Sonic movie, I reckon this will be enough. Be successful enough to get sequels, which means we will eventually get characters like Tails, and
Tails,
Amy, and Metal Sonic. I was actually thinking about it the other day, right? If they were to try and turn this into like a trilogy of films, I think that Sonic has the right story set up for that to work. Like this first movie is all about introducing Sonic and Dr. Eggman, or Dr. Robotnik as he's known in this, and then if the movie ends with like I think it will, with Robotnik ending up on Sonic's world.
Yeah,
Like Sonic getting home and Robotnik being warped there. Yeah, then that means they could make the second movie a kind of a mix match of the first game and Sonic's CD almost. Like you could see it, but you could see the whole plot being around Eggman, Dr. Robotnik finding all the animals and turning them into robots. And then Sonic meeting up with Tails and maybe even Amy to do it, and then having a fight with Metal Sonic be the sort of climactic part of the film.
So,
and then you could transition that to the third movie with all about Knuckles and Angel Island and the Chaos Emeralds, which could end with a supersonic fight against Eggman in space. And like that's it. Then that's like the whole Sonic story basically done with all the
Sonic
key
cinematic
Genesis
universe.
characters. Yeah, and then if it's popular, then you make a Knuckles movie and a Shadow movie.
And a Shadow movie, yeah.
The only thing I'm thinking about with the only thing I'm feeling about that is how you bring James Marsden back into it, because I feel like he's got to be in all three of them somehow. So unless he somehow gets brought to Sonic's world as well, but I reckon they wouldn't do that in this first movie because that would feel really weird. Yeah. It'd have to be like somehow in a sequel, James Marsden gets brought to their world. As opposed to being the other way around. It's kind of like Sonic X did that. Like Sonic X had them all in the real world.
True,
and then
but
they brought
that'd be
Chris
so
over
weird.
to their world.
Yeah. That'd be so weird if they were still doing the live action thing though. Like everything would be CGI except for James Marsden if they're in Sonic's world.
That's the one issue I'm having with it, because I feel like a sequel should be set in Sonic's world because it should really be trying to establish that, like the actual game storyline and building up all the introducing Sonic's friends and stuff like that. But I don't think you can really do that properly in the real world unless you pulled like a Sonic X sort of twist where the next movie just suddenly starts with Sonic and Eggman and everything Eggman's done is implied like to have happened off screen, and then they get brought to. And then they all get brought to James Marsden's world again. But that almost runs the risk of being too similar in plot to the first one. Like Sonic needs to get home again.
Yeah. Although I'm scared the trailers ruined all the action scenes of the movie. I think in that second trailer, this is one drone that's chasing Sonic, and he seems to be in all of the scenes that are the action scenes. And then at the end of the trailer, you can see Sonic throwing a ring into that desert place.
Yeah.
Which they've already shown in the trailer as well. I think they've shown most of the action stuff. So I'm kind of worried about that.
I think the second trailer was better than the first trailer. I reckon if we just had the second trailer and not the first trailer, it wouldn't be so much of an issue. Because I feel like the first trailer is what gave away too much of the plot.
You think? No, I think the second trailer gave way too much away.
I think the second one gives away the plot if you have the context from the first trailer already.
Yeah.
And the two of them together give away stuff. I think on its own, the second trailer is fine. Because the second trailer doesn't have anything from what is meant to be the climax of the film, but the first trailer did.
Oh yeah, it did. You're right. Yeah.
So the first trailer seemed to have lots. There's another film that did that recently, 21 Bridges, that's just about to come out.
Yeah.
The first trailer that they released for that was really long and basically gave away the whole movie. And I've seen a new trailer that they released when I went to go watch Joker that was like half the length and much better as a trailer. But it's already been ruined for me because I've seen the first trailer, and so I feel like I know everything that's going to happen.
See, I didn't look at any of the Joker trailers. I watched that without seeing.
No, I saw this trailer when I went to go see Joker. Sorry, for 21 Bridges. I hadn't seen anything from Joker either.
No.
Now I don't feel like 21 Bridges seems to be hyped up as this big movie that's just about to come out, and I don't feel like I've got any reason to go see it when I've seen all the trailers.
Yeah. Swimming. Yeah, they'll probably throw the ring portal. He's going to be running, then he throws a ring portal, then they all go through it, and now he's in the Great Wall of China, then he throws it again, he's in the desert place.
Yeah, that's 100% how they're going to be doing it.
Yeah. No, but which is why I'm scared. They've already spoiled it all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't... Yeah.
No, it'll be interesting.
as long as the whole movie has Sonic in it and is solely focused on Sonic and Tom, then I think it'll be better than the Detective Pikachu.
I mean, that seems to be apart from the obvious scenes where they're going to transition to the military and Dr. Eggman and show him.
Yeah.
Because Sonic obviously won't be there for those scenes.
Uh-huh.
And probably an initial scene to establish Tom as a character.
Yeah.
Before he meets Sonic. I reckon every scene after that will always be about Sonic and Tom together. It's effectively a buddy movie.
Yeah.
So I think I think it'll be passable as a movie.
I think it'll be. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a 6 out of 10. That is my guess.
It's very, very average guess, and it's very, very for a very, very average movie. I don't know if Jim Carrey will carry this. To be honest, I liked his.
Hey, you like the pun?
Because at the first trailer, he seemed all right. Like I felt like, oh yeah, Jim Carrey will be the best part of this movie. But then all his antics in the second trailer, especially dancing around in.
It's too much like Jim Carrey.
It's too much. It's not. It doesn't feel like Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, it's the same problem I have with the games. Is that they go too comical.
I'm fine with him being comical as long as he feels also like a bad guy.
Yeah.
And is evil. Whereas like some games done it right, some games haven't. Some games like Lost World went completely over the top with it. But to be fair, Eggman's the best part of Lost World.
He is.
But all quite right. I do like the idea of him slowly transitioning as he gets more and more insane trying to catch Sonic and stops shaving his mustache and starts losing his hair out of stress until he starts looking like Eggman. But I think that's a clever way. I enjoy that. But yeah.
I think it'll be an okay movie. I think it'll be just fine. I don't think I'll hate it. Like I really didn't like Detective Pikachu at all.
I think I don't know if I will enjoy it as much as I enjoy Detective Pikachu. Although to be fair, a big reason I enjoyed Detective Pikachu was seeing all the Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
That was really just it. To be honest, I really thought the CGI was well used in that movie. I enjoyed seeing all the Pokemon and all the references and stuff in the background.
Yeah. Now
and the ending where it's all done in the Sugimori art style was really nice as well.
Oh yeah, the ending part was like the best part of the whole movie.
Like, it plays a remix of the Pokemon theme tune.
Yeah,
and that was cool. I enjoyed that.
It's the best part of the whole movie, and it's not even part
what were you going to say? Sorry, before.
I was going to say, which one has more Pokemon, Detective Pikachu or Sword and Shield?
Rip. You know, someone's already out there doing that analysis.
No. Give me credit. I came up with it.
Who's the check the Sonic Twitter? Someone's saying why.
Happy birthday, Danny DeVito, is what they've tweeted out.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Okay.
Right. Is he going to be in the movie now?
Yeah. He's the real Eggman.
They're just going to make it.
Oh my god! Imagine if he was.
If Danny DeVito was.
Yeah. That would have worked.
They're just going to have him be in the movie as a parody of Detective Pikachu.
Would still be better.
But yeah, I think this movie could. I think Sonic movie could be good enough to get sequels, and then there's enough in the Genesis line of stories to.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Valbo. I think there's enough in the Genesis line of stories to have a trilogy of movies where you slowly introduce Metal Sonic, Amy, Tails, and Knuckles.
Man, I wonder how they'd look in this art style.
I reckon they'd obviously go get Tyson Hess back on it.
Yeah.
So I reckon they'll probably look all right. Amy's the weirdest one I'm thinking about because she's obviously doesn't look much like a hedgehog really.
Yeah.
It's like fully clothed, whereas the others are much more animal-like. So
naked.
Yeah. Yeah, naked with shoes and gloves.
Yes.
So I wonder how Knuckles would also be a funny one, just because obviously the first Sonic design tried to make him a bit more hedgehog-like.
Yeah.
so it'd be a bit more realistic.
Oh my
But like
god!
Knuckles
Yeah.
looks nothing like an actual echidna, so
Give him 3 penises.
yeah. Oh, it's going R-rated now.
We got to avoid that copper.
Keanu Reeves in the Sonic movie as Knuckles.
No, best movie ever.
Best movie
I would.
done. But yeah, that's the Sonic movie. I wonder when we'll get the next Sonic game. Actually,
I can't. Oh, God,
any
I'm
thoughts?
so disappointed. Oh, I mean, it should have been this year. Sonic Forces was a terrible place to end.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all right with them skipping this year because of Mario and Sonic. Like, I don't think you want to have both of them, right?
Yeah,
Because I feel like that
there
would
gotta be something next year, man. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be something next year.
But
Although
then,
I
what are
did
they
have-
gonna do for the anniversary the year afterwards?
Was the anniversary the year afterwards?
Yeah,
Oh, they always wait for the anniversary, don't they?
yeah. So that's the
Maybe-
big question: are they gonna skip next year off as well?
Maybe they'll release a spin-off, or maybe next year is when they will do the remakes of like, you know, not remakes but re-releases of like Sonic Adventure and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Next year, it's just something to pass over, unless they want to do like a sequel to Sonic Mania or something next year.
I don't think that's happening. I actually don't think that's happening.
I think it would definitely happen eventually.
Eventually, but not now. I don't think it'll be now. I don't think it'll be the anniversary. I think it'll be a while.
No, I don't think. I think maybe a year after the anniversary. Like Sega can be stupid, but I don't think they're so stupid to not make a follow up to.
Well, I
most
do know
successful-
100% that team's already working on a game, right?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Which is why, like, I feel, but I don't feel like it's not a massive team from what I understand. So
Yeah.
it probably won't make it for. It'll probably come out in like 2 or 3 years. But yeah, no, I actually had like a somewhat random conspiracy theory going on in my head because they've been releasing those remixes of past games.
Yeah.
Like they did the remix of "Can You Feel the Sunshine"
Oh,
and
yeah.
the Station Square remix.
Yeah.
stuff
I
that, and I was just
I
wondering if-
didn't like them. I didn't like any of them.
I like both. I like both of them
Hmm.
personally. But like
But I
think
also, yeah.
I think they've been calling something like Sonic the Hedgehog Special Remix.
Yeah.
Like both times, which, you know, it doesn't sound anything special just off paper. But what if actually we're supposed to be reading it like not Sonic the Hedgehog Special Remix, but Sonic the Hedgehog Special Remix, like the comma there. Like if this is actually all like a slow build up to a Sonic the Hedgehog Special game.
I
Just literally
hope
called
not,
that. That's like
'cause then
another throwback game to all the games.
No. Oh, no.
Because they love it.
I don't want it. I just want a new game.
Someone's saying that the Sonic Mania team was working on their own project
Yes.
called Vertebraker. Something
Yeah.
that's not Sonic related.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a 2D
Oh, okay.
pixel platformer. Yeah.
Okay, it didn't get funded. I didn't even know about that. I reckon that's
what? It didn't get funded. Oh my god.
apparently it did not meet their goal in time. I reckon that's because no one blooming knew about it. I mean, I didn't know this was a thing. I just assumed they were still working with Sega to.
Nah, I knew they weren't. I knew it was a thing.
Okay, I think they probably should have. They probably should have pushed that better because if people were like, "Oh, the guys behind Sonic Mania are making their own original title," then I reckon they would have got more than £10,000. Apparently, they were asking for like 213,000 gold, and it only got 10,000.
They were asking for what?
Well, because it's done it to pounds, so I'm sure it was a more even number when it was as dollars. But they were asking for £213,120
Really?
to make this. Yeah,
That's a lot of money.
there's a lot of money. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just looking at the trailer. I mean, it looks all right, but I also like.
No, yeah, no.
I don't-
It's a 213. That seems awfully high.
Yeah, they only got about £10,000. All right.
Maybe
I mean,
I'm-
this. No offense to the team behind this, but there's a game called Skeleton Boomerang,
Yeah.
which is a game where you basically it's a 2D platformer where you throw a boomerang that's bones,
Yeah.
but it's just like the skeleton bones, and that's been out for a while now on Steam only, and it looks somewhat similar to this from here, and definitely it's a really good game. Like it's a really good platforming game.
Yeah.
I reviewed it back in 2017 or 2016 or whenever it came out. And I don't think that no one had to pay £213,000 to get that made.
No, but that
And
that is mad. I'm not. It's there's no way. 200. What? How? Where does that money go towards?
I don't know. I wonder if
Like,
they
how
were.
big is the team is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people in the whole team.
Mm.
213,000. I don't get it.
Maybe they were thinking of like, don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to think what they were thinking of doing with it. Like maybe they were really going all out with the Sonic stuff, thinking, oh, we should have an animated opening and stuff like that. Which
I suppose.
But like, I feel
But-
like it's unnecessary.
Man.
Like you got that worked because you had Sega's backing. That this doesn't
Yeah.
work with that.
Two.
And yeah, it was like 300. It was $300,000 was the first stretch goal, and to get it ported to Switch was $330,000,
What?
which is a bit baffling because I feel like it should have been.
No way.
You kind of get why this game didn't do very
No,
well.
I think. Come on, like. Oh no, I'm trying to not speak down, but like, it can't be that much to make like a 2D pixel platformer, can it?
Yeah, no, I don't feel like it should be.
Like, it looks like something you can make in like Game Maker, which I've used before.
Yeah, I mean, like, no, obviously making a game is really hard and stuff, and it takes time and takes like that. But yeah, that still seems like a lot of money. I think it's contextualized with that. There have been other Kickstarters which feel like there'd be bigger games that have asked for less money.
How much did Ukulele ask for?
Definitely wasn't that much, but Ukulele had a publisher as well to help manage things. But Hat in Time is probably a better comparison.
Hat in Time, yeah.
Didn't have a publisher, not until the very end. And that asked for, I wonder if it'll say. I cannot see where it says, because it's just like
175,000 for what? A Hat in Time?
Okay, all right. No, Hat in Time had a goal of 30,000.
Right, yeah, see, that makes, yeah.
Hat in Time had a goal of 30,000, which is $30,000, which is 10 times less than.
Yeah, that's around about. So that's the kind of money I'd expect.
Yeah.
Like, guys,
they wouldn't get
$300,000.
Yeah, that's way too much.
No, oh my god! Holy shit! Like, what were they expecting? No chance.
Well, that's just headcanon, right? The other teams might still be working with Sega on something. Because it wasn't just headcanon who made Sonic Mania; it was a bunch of.
It was headcanon. It was
And Hess, right?
Oh crap! That was
no. Who? Pagoda West Games.
Pagoda. That's them. That's the name. Yeah.
Pagoda West Games.
I was trying to think.
And
of
Christian Whitehead, sorry, was the director.
Yeah.
There's so many like notable names of people who were Sonic fans now floating around.
Yep.
It's hard to know like who is what and get them all together. Yeah, Pagoda West Games. I mean, they could. I don't know what they did before Sonic Mania, but they could still be working on stuff. Their website doesn't have. Their website is literally a logo with nothing else.
Yeah.
So that's not helpful.
Holy man, I'm so holy shit.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Yeah.
Let's start wrapping this up because it's
the
2 hour marks and it's nearly 6. Well, it's about to be 6 p.m. for both of us.
Yeah.
So it's not really our good morning anymore.
No.
But thank you very much, TWIP, for coming on and talking about
thanks for having
Pokemon
me. Yeah.
Sonic.
Sorry
it's
if I
been
was
great.
overly negative the Pokemon, but
Balancing between your negativity about it and my positivity
yeah.
about it. And we kept the discussion fair and praised them for the
Yes.
stuff they did good. And I think
Yes.
all the complaints are legit complaints.
Okay.
Like, especially if it really is anything like X and Y,
X and Y, yeah.
then I already have a feeling about how it's going to turn out, which does make some of the really, really positive reviews a little bit
oh yeah,
questionable.
yeah.
I mean, it's subjective. It's always subjective.
It is
so I
always
will never...
subjective. But did you know that if IGN, if they've got a link for the game, if you click on their link to buy the game, they earn money from it.
Yeah, of course they do. I mean, they say
Yeah.
there are loads of websites that do that.
Yeah,
Although,
yeah.
I mean, IGN's always a... I mean, I'm not going to say anything bad about them. Because I know how difficult it is being a games journalist, as
Yes.
you're learning as well. But I know it has a sort of reputation.
Yeah. I just
amongst fans, and I don't know if this necessarily helped. There's one thing that I know that I think the reviewer tweeted out that was something along the lines of like, we're doing an article about all the objective criticisms that we have for Pokemon Sword and Shield, but a review was no place for them, which is really weird because I feel like
that is
their argument was that a review is subjective, so we should be focusing on that and not the objective faults of the game. But it's like, no, you should be given you should be subjective about the objective faults of the game. Like, if they don't bother you, that's fine, but the review should be like, there were some issues at this point, but it didn't bother me.
Yeah, no, yeah. Review should be trying to be as objective as possible. Then
reviews can never be purely objective, but reviews should be subjective views on objective facts. Is what reviews should be.
Yes.
And if there's a legit problem in the game and it doesn't bother you, that's fine, but it should be mentioned.
Yeah.
Because people need to be able to judge from your reviews.
Yeah. They said it was the best Pokemon game in the whole franchise. 9.3. And I was just like, what? And yeah, it is all subjective. It's just, it feels weird, you know?
Yes, it does.
So
someone asked which Sword and Shield starter evolution for Smash.
You know what?
Score Bunny is basically already set up for it, because I have seen what their final evolutions look like.
Yeah.
That is one thing I do know. And Score Bunny is basically already perfectly designed for it. But I'm going to go with Sobbles because...
Yeah, me too. Yeah. He's like a sniper dude.
He's meant to be like a spy or something, which was my understanding, which is why I named him.
I feel like that could be cool.
But all right, yes, TWIP, thank you for joining me on this. Thank you for talking about Pokemon with me. Why don't you let the good people who might not know where you're from find you? And there will be a link to that in the description.
There's a link in the description. Okay. My YouTube channel is TWIP, TWIP. The icon you see on this podcast is what my icon is. And you can follow me on Twitter at TWIP98. And yeah, I do Pokemon videos, Nintendo videos, maybe a Sonic video now and again, but it's been a while. But yeah,
really done much.
So yeah, not in a while.
Yeah. But yep, and of course, for any of TWIP's followers who are in the chat, subscribe to Source Gaming and stay up to date. We talk a lot about Smash Brothers, a lot about other stuff. We got quite variety at the moment. We got Doom, we got Devil May Cry, we do No More Heroes, we do Zelda, we do Pokemon.
Yeah,
we're doing a lot of stuff. If you're interested in Pokemon, I am going to be streaming my time with the game, which is going to be interesting. I've only ever done the random streams here and there. I've never done a full game stream, so we're going to see how that goes.
Yeah,
but if you're interested in seeing how the game develops for me over time, come join me. I haven't decided exactly what day I'll stream them yet. I did it on Friday during the day, but that's only because it was day one, so I wanted to do it on the day it came out. Mm-hmm. It would probably be a weekend because otherwise I'd be at work. So it'll probably be either a Saturday or Sunday. But stay tuned for that. And yeah, thank you for listening to us for the last 2 hours. And we hope you have a wonderful Sunday, and always remember to return to the source.
That's a nice outro.
Thank you. Right. Okay. we Shadowlink, you can stop this now because well, I don't have control over this anymore. He does.